Hello everyone, this is Denise at Something Beautiful Handcrafts and welcome to the Doll Studio. This is Kirsten and I'm going to do a little face up on Kirsten today. Now, all of the dolls that I have, with the exception of Joss, are all secondhand, and pretty much they're all retired dolls except for Kit, who is available in her Be Forever. Josefina, I think, is still available, the AG Josefina. So they're all fairly old. Number 30 and number 47 are probably the exceptions. I think they were retired like 2017, 2018 roughly. So they may not be as old, but of course, since they've been around for a while, they could be as old as like 2011, 2012. At any rate, these girls have lost most of their face paint, if they really even had that much face paint. My understanding is that the Pleasant Company girls did not really have that much face paint. Now, I wish I could get a hold of a good catalog or a really good picture to see exactly how much face paint these earlier 90s dolls had. That would be pretty cool. But I don't, so I'm just going to take some guesses here. Now, there's a little controversy, I guess, about retouching the paint on the Pleasant Company dolls. You know, if you're a collector. I'm a collector, but I'm not quite that kind of collector. Chances are I will never sell these dolls unless I really have to. And though I do take worth into consideration, like I said, I'm restoring them from the beginning anyway. So it's not like I'm looking for the best clean doll to put up on the shelf. So I'm okay with that. What's taken me a really long time, besides the fact that I wasn't really sure how much original paint these girls had on them, is that I'm not exactly a makeup artist. I don't even wear makeup myself, never have. So painting natural makeup on the doll really was not my first choice of things to do. But I've been watching a lot of videos, and so I figured I'd give this a try. Now, I did Molly, I did Samantha, I did Felicity and Josefina. It didn't occur to me that I probably should make a little picture. Oh, let me move around here. Probably should make a little video about what I'm actually doing before I go any further. So I'm going to go ahead on Kirsten here. Kirsten is very, very pale. Now, I am using watercolor pencils, and there are lots of people who use watercolor pencils. They use all kind of other things, but watercolor pencils is what I have. If I had pastels, I would probably use soft pastels. Me and acrylic paint, we just don't really get along very well. It would help if I had some acrylic paint medium, but I wasn't running out to the store and buying anything when I can just use what I have. So these are my Faber Castell aquarels. Oh. And I have, let's see, there's some numbers on these guys. I don't have names. There's like a number 89, which is some type of brown. A number 7, which is a peachy yellow. Number 32, which is a peachy pink. 27, which is kind of like a plum kind of color, like a red plum. And I don't want to say maroon because there is a maroon in there, and it does look quite a bit different than that. And number 21 is a red. You see the tips there. Okay, now I'll show you Josefina later, but this one was for Josefina because of the skin tone. Okay, I use these two. I start off with the pink and then add the yellow to make it a little more peachy, because I don't actually have a pink in the bunch, and the brown to tone down the peach, and then a red for the outside layers. And that's how I did Molly. I'll show you Molly's. It may not be necessary with Kirsten. She has much more delicate. So you have to assume that I wiped off everything clean. And I did not apply any fixant to Molly, but I did add a little bit of Mod Podge just to give it some grip onto Samantha. And I may or may not need to do that here. It depends on how it goes on. So I'm looking for the highlight. I'm looking for the outline, I should say. And you can just barely see Kirsten's outline. And I'm just trying to get a little pencil. Now there are better pencils, and I saw this really neat video where a lady went through these different pencils, and that was so cool. If I was doing a ball jointed doll, or this is something I plan to do a lot of, I would probably go out and get myself some Durer pencils. But I only have a few dolls, and these are good enough. Okay, so you can just about see that. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of yellow to that. You can see how much stronger this particular yellow pencil is. I don't need that much. And I'm going to tone it down a little brown. That'll help give me that peachy color. And you're looking like this is some craziness. But I'm going to blend these colors on the lips, which is basically what I would do if I was painting. I should have got a little deeper down there. The hardest part is seeing how much of the lip to paint. The good thing is this watercolor pencil, so I just wipe it off. Okay. And I tell you, I could use a thinner brush, but I just didn't feel looking for it. They're out in the garage with the epoxy, because I kept them in the epoxy case. Okay, so pretty much, I think you can see how that's going. Okay, and so, of course, I would take something small, a little Q-tip or something, and make sure I got that outline where I want it. And I need to get my motion together here so that this paint sits where I want it to sit, the way I want it to sit. And adding a little medium to that would do that. But basically, that's all I really needed. So now I'm taking a little extra of what was on the lip. Rubbing out on the cheek. So I'm going to add a little pink to the mix. And then a little bit of the red. The red is always stronger. Then a little bit of the yellow. And a little bit of the brown. That looks to me like it's going to be too much. And that depends on how far I plan on putting it in the cheeks. So I'm looking at it and it's a little too orange for me. So I'm going to tone that down. Let's see. That's still a little too orange for me. And essentially, basically what I'm doing is watercoloring on their face. Now, usually when I paint flowers, so skin tones are a little complicated for me. And I can always dab off if I need to. That's not too bad. Gonna let that dry. That's all that Kirsten needed, was just a little tiny bit of something just to bring a little color to her face. Now let me show you Josefina. I'll put a before picture of Josefina in the shot so you can see. Really got her lips really nicely. Now the paint has dried because I did her last night, and she was a little splotchy. So I'll just go over that. Just to even that out. And there's a little in the corner I'd like to take off. Be careful though, because I don't want to take off the face yet, since it's not sealed in. Okay, like there's no need to be like immaculate in this case, because I mean, like, people aren't exactly symmetric either, and so I don't really want to make it too perfect. And also, if it's kind of a little if it's not super smooth, kind of looks like textured lip too, to keep that in mind. Take some of that extra color, add it to her cheeks. She looks flushed, and I like that. Okay, I'm gonna do Addy. Really, Addy's face needs to be buffed with a micro paint. This Addy is a little newer. Still a Pleasant Company Addy, but I know she's a little newer because she doesn't have the brown eyelids like the other older Pleasant Company dolls do, but she has soft eyelids. Could use a little dusting on her. Okay, I'm going to try to hit the inside of Eddie's mouth with the white pencil. I wasn't sure I'd be able to get the tips sharp enough with the hand sharpener, but actually looks just fine. And I'm wetting the pencil itself this time. Okay, and making a mess, but we'll get that off. Let me tell you, these are not my best brushes. I have some, these are the acrylic brushes and the watercolor brushes. So I'm not going to even get into recommending brushes, because that's not what this is about. Well, I guess I will say this. When I oil paint, I use the Winsor & Newton brushes. But I didn't get Winsor & Newton brushes for the acrylics or the water, because I don't paint as regularly with those as I do, or as I did with the oil paints. Okay, so now Addy, being of a darker skin tone, sorry, trying to get her situated here. She's like sticking me in the stomach. Um, she's darker skin tone. I just start with a darker color and put a little brown. And she's got a fuller lip too than the um, classic molds. Her and Josefina. Josefina has like a really pouty lip. It's really pretty. Pouty lip. And the other two molds have less lip. And this Addy mold has more lip than all of them. Different lip shape than Josefina. More lip. And I've heard this Addy being described as a purple undertone. I would have never thought about it like that, but that's an interesting thought. As opposed to my number 46, if you saw the video. No, not number 46, number 47. No, let me think about that. 46, yes, because there's 46 and there's 47, and they differ by hairstyle. 46 is curly, 47 is straight. Okay, so anyway, the 46 Sonali mold supposedly has red undertones, while this Addy mold has, the older Addy mold has a purple undertone. It's a little, technically it's not an overpaint. Okay, to me, that's a little more red than I'd like it to be. I'm going to try to tone that down a little. And I'm thinking that this brown is not, oh, actually that's not too bad. I was thinking the brown wasn't dark enough for this skin tone, but no, it looked that is much more what I want. Okay. That's more like it. Okay, so now I'm okay with the color. Just think there's too much paint on her face. I'm going to put that on her cheeks real quick. And it hardly looks like I'm putting anything on there, but it's on there. This is the shade I used for Josefina. I might even need a deeper one for Addy. Okay, so we're just gonna let that dry. Oh yeah, I'm liking it more as it dries. I see there's a spot right here that is a little uneven, but you know what? That can be considered a lip highlight, so it may not be a problem. Okay. All right. Actually, that's looking pretty good. When it dries, I'll take pictures in some natural light outside and you'll be able to see how that actually turned